What's up guys, Professor Excalibur here again. In today's video I'm going to show you one build for each of Mag's abilities, just like in the Excalibur video. Now again, you've seen some of these builds in action in my Mag and Cheese video, but yeah, let's get started. So this is my loadout. These are the weapons I use on my Mag. We have a Huras Kubrow here for the invisibility, and yeah, let me just start explaining. So you may ask yourself at first, why the fuck am I using a single target weapon on Mag? And as you can see over here, I have 5, not all of them are Tau forged yet, still need to work on that, but I have 5 Emerald Archon Shards for Toxin damage. My IQ is modded for Toxin. We have a Riven over here. And to be honest with you, the primary weapon you use with Mag doesn't really matter that much. Actually, none of the weapons you use with Mag matter that much. Yeah, that's right. Mag can reach damage cap using just her magnetized bubble. So this is kinda just my gun platforming build, you know. So this is my main build, the one that I used to basically run everywhere. You can use this with any primary weapon you want to shoot the bubble and basically deal a shit ton of damage. As you can see, I have Roar subsumed for even more weapon damage. We have the 3 Umbral mod sets, of course. Primed Flow for more energy as usual. We have Arcane Arachne over here for, of course, even more damage. Arcane Crepuscular because we are using the Huras Kubrow with the Stalk mode to basically go permanently invisible. We have Magnetized Discharge and Fracturing Crash. Now, I consider these 2 augment mods pretty replaceable on Mag. They are really good. As you can see, more magnetized range. And this basically allows you to strip armor instantly using Crush. We have a bit more strength, preparation of course. Again, you can replace this with Prime Sure-Footed if you feel like it, or basically with anything else, it doesn't really matter all that much. And stretch for more range. My secondary weapon is basically, again, this doesn't really matter. I use the Zakti Prime as you can see here, but I use it more so to prime enemies other than anything. I don't even do that a lot, as you know. I don't really like to prime enemies, but yeah, this is the build for the Zakti. Now again, for the Hali curve rate, this, again, it doesn't really matter. I have Meritocracy over here because on the Halicar you have a shit ton of puncture, which gives you a shit ton of crit damage. Blood Rush, Sacrificial Steel, more crit chance. Prime Pressure Point for more damage. Melee Prowess and Jugulous Barbs, of course, for more puncture damage, so we can squeeze out more critical damage. So now Primed Smite Corpus, I've already explained this in a previous video, why I basically keep this mode on at all times. Every enemy in the game has shields almost. More critical damage with Gladiator Might, and yeah, this doesn't really matter. The melee weapon you use is going to matter only on one build. I'm going to show you later on Mag. But real quick, let me show you the Kubrow build we have here. So the only essential mode over here is stalk. You need this to go invisible. Mecha recharge, of course. We need a mega set for another build that we're going to use on mag. We have reinforced bond, of course. This gives us more fire rate on our bow. And by the way, I'm using a single target weapon on mag because if you shoot towards the top of mag's bubble, you actually will get a guaranteed headshot. That's why we have longbow sharp shot here and primary equity. This is little and same for the amalgam IQ target acquired mode. We are basically getting free multipliers here with the headshot. Really easy to hit too, especially on mag. But then again, you can just go with a shotgun or any other primary and do just as fine, I guess. But yeah, let's see this build in action now.
Your weapons make music, and the enemy calls for a song.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. Tower's neural sentry has turned these soldiers into mindless attack drones. You need to take them out. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. Broken their ranks and they are on the run. Another successful mission. Find extraction.
Your will was greater. This is good.
Alright, and now that we are back, I'm going to show you basically the build for her first ability, Pool. So as you can see over here, we have Pyrotechnics subsumed, which is pretty important if you want to make Pool useful at all. Like, this is the only way I could personally find on how to make Pool actually useful. We have Arch on Vitality, of course, to synergize with Pyrotechnics. Basically double applying that hit damage. Again, we have two umbral mods, because why not? The augments, again pretty essential. Arcane Arachne for even more damage. By the way, this applies to Pyrotechnics, so that's pretty awesome. You deal even more damage after wall latching. Arcane Hotshot, this is basically here you can, if you want to shoot enemies with your secondary and mod it for fire, you will deal massive damage. Some of this stuff is basically the same, but yeah, so let me show you the build in action, and shout out to Rowan is a mag main and Deadcrow for finding this build.
Your enemies have grown fierce. Use all that you have learned.
The tower's neural sentry has turned these soldiers into mindless attack drones. You need to take them out. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. You have broken their ranks and they are on the run.
As
Another
you
successful
conquer the
mission.
foe,
Find extraction.
so you conquer yourself.
Okay, so now we have the build I used to reach damage cap in the mac and cheese video. So again, let me explain a little bit. We are using the mecha set over here. As you can see, it's maxed out. We have arcane arachne again, of course, and arcane crepuscular. This is really important. It gives us lots of free stats with our Kubrow. And again, here's the Kubrow build with mecha recharge. And of course, mega overdrive on the claws. Now, you can literally just copy this build if you want to. Same for every other thing I've done. You can just pause the video if you want to copy the build, that's fine. As you can see, I have breach surge over here, and the trick to reaching the damage cap with this build is you literally magnetize, then you go grab onto a wall for the arcane arachne buff, you breach surge the enemies, and then you pull to trigger those sparks, and then you just keep pulling enemies into the bubble and spamming your breach surge over and over and over again, and this stacks inside of the magnetized bubble, and when that thing explodes, it will literally deal so much damage your game will almost crash, as you saw in my latest video. So yeah, let's see the build again in action.
Fact. Honor them with quick deaths, and I with your victory.
Life support has been cut off. They're trying to choke you out. Hold on. I'm sending auxiliary life support. Prepare for life support. delivered a life support capsule to the area. Activating it will buy you more time. Life support on the way. Another life support capsule is now available. The operative has just made their first discovery. Keep up the good work. When you are ready, go to extraction.
Alright, so now that we are back, I'm going to show you an even more ridiculous mag build. But as you can see, it's a pretty potent build. I mean, I took it into Descendia and I did just fine. This is a freaking Polarize Shards build. Same arcanes, same umbral mods, flow again, blind rage again, magnetize discharge again, and this time we have in our aura we have holster amp and vigurous swap. And you may ask again why. Well, these two mods actually apply to the Polarize Shards you get from the Polarize ability, and same for Arcane Arachne, by the way, and same for Nourish. So you literally are giving your Polarize Shards viral damage. basically the trick with this build is again, you use your magnetized bubble, and then you literally just use polarize, and the shards will kill everything. It doesn't matter, the level doesn't matter at all. This will destroy them. By the way, you can replace Augur secrets over here with Crush if you feel with the augment for Crush if you want to maybe subsume nourish over Pool instead of what I did here, subsuming nourish over Crush. It'll work just the same, but there is also one more thing. Here, if you want, you can basically keep the dog to go invisible, but there is actually... Hold on. Yeah, so the buff from Cat's Eye from the Adarza Kavat will actually apply to the Polarize Shards too, making them able to critically hit, as you saw in my last video, and they can crit for quite a fucking lot. So yeah, you have two choices here. You can either go with the Adarza Kavat or with the Huras Kubrow. It really depends on what you want, but if you want to squeeze everything out of this ability out of your Polarized Shards, you really have to go with the Adarza Kavat for the critical chance. Also, I don't really know why I still had arcane crepuscular over here, but you can basically replace this with arcane avenger for even more critical chance on your polarized shards, which I'm actually going to do right now. So yeah, again, let's see the build in action.
The art of combat must be practiced to truly master the canvas of war.
Extraction is ready.
Now, for my last build, for the crush build, we are actually going to swap over to another mag. And as you can see, I have 5 Tau 4 Violet Archon Shards with melee critical damage. And why is that? Well, I've tested this ability extensively, and the only thing I found useful about it were the shields it gives you. So what I did here was basically make a build around melee retaliation. As you can see, we gain 30% melee damage for every 200 current shields, up to 420%, bonus half for over shields. But the thing is that we are going to literally get all of that damage on mag with crush. It doesn't matter if the damage is halved for over shields. With this build that you see right here, you are going to hit exactly the necessary shields to hit maximum damage on melee retaliation. So yeah, let me explain the build a bit. Of course, we have holster amp and vigorous swap over here. By the way, if you don't in the showcase, I'm using the Halicar rate I have equipped over here with this exact build. You can also use a Zo with this build, but if you don't want to use a Throne melee, you can just replace these mods with you can replace this one with Steel Charge, and Vigorous Swap you can just put more efficiency on if you want to. But yeah, these two are here basically because they apply multiplicatively to the Throne Zos and to glaives basically. We have Primary Direction, Boreal's Hatred, and Primed Vigor to hit the necessary amount of shields. Of course, we have Fracturing Crush over here for that casting speed and basically for the stun. Same for Counter Pulse. With this build, you really don't want to go against factions that don't have shields. So like this build is totally yes against Grenier, against Infested, but totally dominates Corrupted and the Corpus and Tekrot, and yeah. Primed Flow, of course, to hit that 500 energy we need for the Archon Shards. Again, Arcane Arachne for the multiplicative damage on the Throne Glaive. And Arcane Barrier to, of course, instantly restore our shields to max if we get damage or if we are in a pinch. As you can see, I don't have it maxed out yet, but I recommend you max it out. Alright, now let me show you the build I have on the Halicar rate. Melee Retaliation, of course, Primed Smite Corpus. Primed Pressure Point is not really necessary over here. If you have a Riven for your chosen weapon, I would replace this with the Riven. Melee Retaliation already gives us 420% damage, and it's additive to Primed Pressure Point, so there is literally no point to having this here. You can get much more damage with Riven with critical chance damage or even more status. You know, I would actually replace this with another status over here, like, I don't know, maybe Cold. So yeah, let me show you this build in action too.
Assassination contracts are not to be taken lightly. Eliminating this target will have a significant impact on enemy forces. Search the area. Leave no survivors. Recent innovations in corpus robotics have led to a surge in production. Their newest animal-like proxy is an unrelenting hunter. Codenamed Hyena, this robot is designed to work in packs. Use caution. The Hyena pack will work together to try and take you down. Use caution. The Hyena pack will work together to try and take you down. There is the assassination target. You know what to do.
Target down. Assassination contract complete. Great work, Tenno.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Your sacred tokens shall remain secure from the grasp of the idols.
They fought well. Good deaths all.
Those were my mech builds, one for each of her abilities. I would like to make a series out of this gimmick to like make a build for each Warframe for each of their skills. I think it could be quite interesting to see in what way we could push each individual ability to perform. Yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye.
Cast and cry, raise the million pylons high. All arcane were bound to fly for that far shore.